Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I have some more Christmas Dollar Tree DIYs for you guys, and these DIYs have a gingerbread theme to them because this year I plan to do a gingerbread theme in my kitchen, so I hope you guys enjoy these DIYs. The first DIY I'm going to share with you guys is how I created a gingerbread coffee bar sign. Now Dollar Tree this year has so many great wood shaped cutouts. They have these that are like the little gingerbread ones. They come 14 in a pack, so you get so many for $1, and they have so many more shapes, but I just fell in love with the gingerbread shape. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to take about 6 of them because I have 2 DIYs that I'm sharing with you guys on today's video that I'm going to use a couple of these little gingerbread for, and then I'm going to make some DIYs later on that I'll be using them. So I kind of just wanted to prep them now. So I have this brown in my home, but I did not like how dark of a brown it was, so I added some white to it so I could tone it down to give it more of that gingerbread kind of cookie look. And you can do this with so many of your colors. Instead of like spending so much money on different shades of paint, just use some white to dilute it, not dilute it, but to tone down the paint color, and that way you can save money and you can always, create your own kind of color. So that's what I did for these little gingerbreads, because I felt like that brown was a little bit too dark, and I felt like this brown was like the perfect gingerbread cookie look. So while they dry, I'm going to take these other wood shapes, this color your own ornament wood shapes that are in the shape of little mugs, which these are amazing. They're very popular and they're hard to find because people take so many of them. So this is how it looks when it's out of the package. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint it red, but I'm painting the bottom part red for it to be the mug part, and then I'm going to add the little gingerbread to the front. Once the paint was dry on the gingerbread, I'm going in with this white puffy 3D paint that I got at Walmart to create like the designs on the gingerbread. And I wanted to use puffy paint because it looks more realistic, like frosting. But I have to say, guys, I've told you guys before on my videos, I have the most shakiest hands, so my little gingerbreads are not looking very, very great because puff paint can be hard to work with and my hands shake so much. But I kind of like the fact that it doesn't look perfect because it looks like an actual cookie if someone decorated the cookie. So just know, don't be too critical when you do it. If yours doesn't come out perfect, it actually kind of looks more realistic that way. But I just did the regular kind of designs of a gingerbread. I didn't go too crazy with it, especially since these are so tiny, the more that you do, the more blob it'll look. So this is how it came out when it fully dry, and you want to make sure that this stuff fully dries before you guys work with it, because I had so many mess ups with my little gingerbread house that I'll share with you later, because I didn't let the puff paint dry and it just kept messing up, so I had to do some different things to fix it. So I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to glue it to the front of this little mug. You can add some other decorations to this mug, but I just felt like sometimes less is more. So I just wanted to add the little gingerbread to it, and I thought that would be, just perfect to have that. And then I'm going to go in with the puff paint, and I'm going to add some puff paint to the top part to make it look like whipped cream. Dollar Tree sells like a 3-pack of tube confetti, and one of them came with like the green, the blue, and this red. And to me, this little tube confetti looks like sprinkles, so I decided to sprinkle a little bit on the puff paint while it's wet so it can stick to it, so it can look like the sprinkles are on the whipped cream. So if you saw my fall DIY videos, you saw that I created this little apple sign right here from one of the signs that Dollar Tree had. They had another little like piece on top of this for fall, but I took it off and I added this apple to it. So now I'm taking the apple off and I'm gonna add the little mug to it. You need to be careful because these little pieces that they had already attached to them, if you pull them off a little bit too hard, it will pull off the backing of the paper that's already there. So if you want that gingham black and white pattern like I do want, you got to make sure that you don't pull off too much or too hard, because all the paper paper will come off. But if you're redoing the backing, don't worry about it. But I just glued it back to the paper and made sure that the gingham pattern was still intact before I glued the mug back on. And I had to kind of shift it into another different direction, like that it was, so that the mug can fit over it and cover those yellow pieces. But I really like how the black and the white look with the red. You know, you guys know that I'm into that black and white look lately. That's what I'm decorating with the pops of red. So this came out so adorable. I think it's so cute. I can't wait to use it in my coffee bar, and to decorate my coffee bar, to add, like, you know, touches of red, touches of white, and then also touches of gingerbread in my kitchen. The next DIY I'm going to share with you guys is how I created a gingerbread red truck decor piece. Now at Dollar General, I shared with you guys in my Dollar General haul how I found these little like wooden red trucks, and it was actually 2 other color ones that I found too, for just $1. I love them. They were like these thick wood pieces, but I wasn't a fan of like the flowery design on this one. So I knew that I wanted to change it up for the season. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking some red paint that I already had on hand, and I'm going to cover up the flower and the wording on it, but I'm not going to cover up the little window. So I'm taking like the little skinny paint brushes and making sure I take my time to go around covering everything so that I can still keep the little window. And then I'm also going to paint the hubcaps white so that everything can have a red and white theme. Now, if you guys have seen my other DIYs, you guys know that I like to add wording and sayings to my DIYs. So I'm taking these black rub-on transfers that they have at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to pick the word that says joy, and I'm going to add it to the front of this truck. Now, I would have liked the joy to be a little bit bigger, but they only had it this small, and I couldn't find anything at Dollar Tree with a saying that was a little bit bigger that I liked for the holidays. And all the other ones on the rub-on transfer, they said like thankful and some other stuff, explore. It didn't really go with the holidays to me. So I know the joy looks very small, and like I wasn't a fan of how small it was, but I did want it to add something, and this is all I could find. So if later on I find something different at Dollar Tree, because you guys know the Dollar Tree brings things out in their own time, then I might make this over and I'll share that with you guys. But for right now, I just added the joy because that's what I had on hand. But if you guys have another idea of another wording that I could have added, because I don't own a Cricut, I don't have a Cricut, so if y'all have any other idea of another wording that you saw at Dollar Tree that maybe worked for the front of this, let me know. And you have to be careful with the rub-on transfers on painted pieces, because as you can see, it's taken me a while to take this piece off because it's painted. The rub-on transfer plastic doesn't come off as great, and so I had to use my nail to kind of pick it off, and then so it kind of chipped the red paint a little bit. So I was like, I'm just going to touch that up at the end. So just know that if you add these rub-on transfers to painted stuff, it is a little bit harder to take off. So I added that, and then I wanted to add some of my little gingerbread men that I added, that I made earlier. So on the truck part, instead of like adding a tree like a lot of people do, I'm just going to add 3 little gingerbread men to the back of it, like they're kind of standing up. I then decided to add these little mini trees that you can get at Dollar Tree. They come in a pack. I forgot how many come in a pack because I had it from last year, but you get quite a few in a pack. And I decided to add the little mini trees to the side of where the gingerbread men were at. Then I wanted to add some fake snow to the back of the truck. So I'm taking this glue. It's a craft glue from Dollar Tree. To me, it's not the best glue, but for snow, I think it's pretty good. Or you can just use regular, school glue. But I'm just basically putting the glue where I want the snow to be at. And then I'm taking my snow and sprinkling it on. This part does get messy, so be careful. It's going to get everywhere. But I'm going to put like a little bit on the back of it. And then I'm also going to cover the bottom part of the trees because I didn't like the gold part of it. So I wanted it to look like the trees were coming from the snow. So, but you can leave the little bottom part showing if you want for the trees, but I wanted to make it look like the trees and the snowmen were like in the snow of the back of the truck. And here's how my little gingerbread red truck came out. I think it looks absolutely adorable, and I think it looks way better than what the original truck looked like. The last DIY I'm going to share with you guys is absolutely my favorite. It's a gingerbread village. So Dollar Tree has these little tea-like kind of houses that I fell in love with. They're absolutely adorable. They do have 3 different colors that they come in. They also come in a galvanized color, but I was always only able to find these 2, which was fine because I was going to paint it, over. Originally, I was going to paint it white and black, but then I decided to make a little gingerbread village out of them. So I'm going to take that same color brown paint that I used for the gingerbreads to paint these little houses. Now to decorate them and to turn these little houses to look more like gingerbread houses, I'm going to use a couple things that I found at Hobby Lobby for 50% off. They had a bunch of these buttons that came out to $1.50. They were so cute for like making houses, making anything, and you can use them for multiple DIYs because I still have so much left over from these DIYs. Look at these little mini cookie cutters. These were so adorable and amazing. I didn't use these little candy canes, but they do have them, but I just wasn't able to use them in this village because, like I said, less is more sometimes. And I am going to use these straws that I found at Dollar Tree to kind of make it look more like the candy cane sticks that you would use to make your little actual gingerbread houses. So I'm going to start with using the wreath to cover the star on top, and then I'm going to go and add a little bit of more of embellishments to it before I go in with the puff paint, because the puff paint I'm going to use over the houses and on the top of the roof to make it look like frosting. Now when you're using puff paint to make it look like frosting, take your time, guys, because puff paint, if you squeeze it a little bit too hard, or if you don't have all of the paint at the little tip, it will mess up your whatever you're making. So take your time. I used 2 hands and I went really slow. It's sped up right now, but I went really slow when I was making these windows. And like I said with my gingerbread person, it's not going to be perfect because, like I said, I have shaky hands, but I did my best. And like I said, sometimes it looks better when it looks like an actual realistic like gingerbread house that someone made. So I wanted to cover up the houses so the houses are like a little frosting, and actually, to me, using the puff paint over the houses made it look more realistic like a gingerbread than to keeping it just how it was. And then I was also going to do some details on the roof as well. So I wanted to do the front part so it can kind of have like the little hanging over the roof so it looks like the frosting is dripping. And then I wanted to continue doing the outlines of the roof. So originally I was just going to do the outlines of the roof and then leave it as is so that the the brown shows, so it kind of looks like the gingerbread graham crackers is showing. So you could leave it as is like this. But I decided that I wanted to kind of add some more details to the top of the roof, because sometimes people like to add different designs to the top of their roof when it comes to like the frosting or the gumdrops and stuff like that. So I wanted to add kind of like shingles kind of look on the roof with the puff paint. So I took the puff paint and I started making like different like swirls, and at first I didn't like how they were coming out. They were coming out even, but at the end when they all came together, it actually looked nice. But this is the part where I tell you guys, be careful and let this thing fully dry, because on the bottle it said that it's going to fully dry within 4 hours. So I waited 6 hours after I did this before I went back in to kind of do the gingerbread men later on, and I touched the part of the roof and it was still wet. So you'll see that after I do this like little design right here, I add like the little sprinkles on top like I did with the little mug. And when I touch the top of, see, here's the little like confetti that I have, I added the top to have the little sprinkles, and you'll see that when I'm sharing with you guys the finished product right here, it's just a little bit of sprinkles. But then at the end, you'll see that there's a lot of red, because once I went back in to do the gingerbread men, I touched the roof on top thinking that it was dry, and it wasn't, and it messed up my whole design of the puff paint. So I had to add more of this little tube confetti to the roof towards the end, because right now you see there's just a little bit on the top. I had to add more to the end because I had touched the top of the roof and messed it up. So if you mess it up, just add some more like of the tube confetti to look like sprinkles, but definitely let this dry a full day before you mess with it, because the bottle says 4 hours and that wasn't even right. So I'm going to take my little gingerbread men, and I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and glue them to the front of the gingerbread house. I wanted a base or a little stand for my village, so these mirrors are the ones that you can find at Dollar Tree, and I thought they would be perfect because the mirror could imitate, like, you know, ice, and like it being like ice skating, and then I was gonna add snow to it. But I didn't like the black look of the outside part, even though I'm going in for that black and white look. I wanted the gingerbread to be all kind of like, you know, just red and white and the brown of the gingerbread. So I took it apart and I spray painted the outside of it white and then put it back together. And then I also used some of these mini bottle brush trees as well for my little gingerbread scene. And this is how my little gingerbread village turned out. I absolutely love this one. This one's my favorite. As you can see, I have the little shape of the cookie cutters in the snow. I added some snow to the fake snow to the bottom of it. And so you could see like the little cookie cutters like in the snow, like the little making of the gingerbread people. And it just looks so adorable. I can't wait to put this in my kitchen. I just love the way that it came out. And I'm going to add the tea lights in it to make it light up at night, so it will light up in my kitchen as well. And that is it for today's video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun making these DIYs. Let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite and which one you are going to recreate. And if you do recreate any of these, please tag me on Instagram so that I can see them and reshare them on my page. And stay tuned and put those notifications on, because I have more videos coming your way. And please like this video if you enjoyed it, because it helps my channel so much. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Hey guys, don't forget to click on the picture in the middle of the screen so you can subscribe to my channel and get notifications on all the new videos that I put out. And check out these other 2 videos that I have posted on my channel on either side of my picture. Have a great day.